Hello, friends. Welcome to Unexpected Advice, your podcast where we talk to very successful and interesting people, and they give you advice on things that you honestly wouldn't expect to hear from them. So today, I am joined by Michael Bendure. Now, Michael and I go way back. It's like OG, old school. So we've known each other for decades. But Michael's coming to us. He has a nationally syndicated radio show, Tonic the Funky Groove Show, and actually internationally syndicated now. I think
as of today.
Today. He's also a podcaster, and he ranked into the top 100 music podcasts for his podcast 40 Minutes of Funk. Fantastic. I've been listening to that since he kicked that off, and it's been a lot of fun. On top of this, if that wasn't enough, he is a local abstract artist, and he's a sought-after musician in the Norman, Oklahoma area. However, we're not going to talk about any of that. What we're going to talk about today with Michael is his passion for collecting really interesting collections, and then what the heck do you do with it? So, Michael, today I would like to talk to you about your rando collections and give people some advice on what on earth are they supposed to do with this stuff. So, first off, we'll start with what are the collections? Because you started telling me one, and then you're like, well, then there's this other thing. Well, then I actually have, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Well, let me just start off by saying that I am not a hoarder. And so the things that I collect
from his closet full of t-shirts behind him that I see.
But those, I wear those. And maybe that's to the point of the things that I collect are things that I can use and enjoy. So I don't collect salt and pepper shakers that sit up on a little shadow box on the wall. I don't, everything that I collect has some sort of useful purpose or function to it,
so
or is enjoyable in some capacity. So I collect a handful of things, and they're very specific and esoteric, and I'm not going to list these in any kind of order, and you can go down any rabbit hole that you want of these if you like. So and some I collect more aggressively than others.
Aggressive collection. You're not a hoarder. Totally.
Not a hoarder. There's a place for everything, more or less. So probably the thing that I've been collecting the longest, maybe I should start there, is Christmas and holiday CDs. Now, I am a huge music fan. For those of you who are listening, what Esther didn't mention is that Esther and I met in college 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago. That's okay. And we played a lot of music. And one of the things that we recorded was a Christmas album. And you are correct. It's not out there, although I'm so tempted sometimes just to put it out on all the digital platforms and not tell anybody. And then, one of these days, you'll get a phone call from Jennifer Jenkins. It's like, why is Planet God on Spotify? That's kind of...
She's going to be like, how did this happen? Who did it?
Right, exactly.
Pretty much what it's going to be.
But so when Jenny and I were first married, we started, one of the things that you do when you're first married, at least we did, was kind of make your own traditions and your own ways of celebrating holidays. And for me as a music guy, I always loved Christmas music, and probably one of my very favorite Christmas albums of all times, and one of the first ones that I bought as an adult was on CD, was the Muppets and John Denver Christmas album, which is still just...
Folks, listeners, I want this to frame your reference.
Yes, this is going to make everything else make so much more sense knowing this. No, but I remember finding this because I had this on a vinyl record when I was a child, and it was one of my favorite albums. And I ran across it. It was repressed as a CD back in 1995 or 6. And I came across it, and I was like, I have to buy this because this is part of my childhood memory. And I didn't have the record anymore, so I bought it on CD. And as Jenny and I sort of grew into being a couple and going through our traditions and stuff, was every year we tended to pick up another album or two that we
Sure.
threw into the mix of our stuff. And we were, when we met and got married, we were in college. We were poor
Yeah.
as church mice, if you'll
Yes.
pardon the idiom.
Yeah.
But we still made room for that in our
Mhm.
lives. And over the years, that's just sort of blossomed. And I picked up, and here's the thing is like, I pick up CDs at garage sales.
Sure.
I don't typically buy a lot. I don't spend a lot of money on Christmas music, but I love the more esoteric, the more wacky, the more strange, the more out there it is, the better. Like I
Yeah.
really am not a fan of like the old Rat Pack crooners. I've got
Okay.
to,
Sure.
like
Yeah, they're
Nat King
popular, so
Cole.
that yeah, okay. So we
Yeah. And
love them. They're beautiful, not your jam. But what I think is interesting on this for the advice piece is that you're basically saying, like, find the thing that's yours and that
yeah.
you will enjoy. And you may just enjoy it once a year. Like you're
Yeah.
enjoying this at Christmas time. There's a season for it. And granted, you can start listening to it in October, but it's a season and you've got a purpose for it. So it's not something that's sitting on a shelf
Absolutely.
that you're like, oh, it's in our, spare bedroom or it's in my boxes in my attic. I'm
Right.
actually
Well,
bringing this out and using it.
and some things that I collect do sit on shelves, which we'll get to momentarily. But the whole point in that is that collection quickly grew past what my 5 CD shuffler could play. And so I invested in a used 300 disc like
Nice.
carousel
Yeah.
CD player so that every year we could have our own
Nice.
Christmas mix. And it's made up of
Mhm.
all the CDs that I've collected over the years. And I just today, I added a few more and we're looking right at about 250 CDs. And
Nice.
so
Okay.
every season, so every holiday, I just hit shuffle on that thing. And
Yeah.
there's stuff, and there's great albums that have great nostalgia related
Yeah.
to them. CDs when Jenny and I were first married, CDs that I've recorded with you and with her
Yeah.
and with our buddies. And my dad did a solo piano recording, and my
Oh,
friend Doug Lewis has
okay.
a
Yes.
solo
Doug's
piano.
wonderful.
So like there's a lot of things that have sort of that intrinsic
Yeah.
value. And whenever I hit play and shuffle, you never know what you're going to get. You might get
Right.
Alvin and the Chipmunks and go, oh, geez, not these guys again. But then
Right.
every now and then you get something that's special, it means something to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, it helps sort of set the season, which
Okay.
typically starts. Typically put Christmas music in at the beginning of November, but it has
Okay.
started as early as September for us. Don't judge
Okay.
me. Just
No, I
depending
mean,
on the year.
yes, especially in 2020, it might have started like July.
Absolutely. Like in May. Okay, we need
You know
so
what?
we need
Screw
a
this.
little
It's Christmas.
Christmas now. Right, exactly. So, but along with that is probably my newest collection, which is ceramic Christmas trees, like the old
Okay.
vintage ceramic Christmas
Yes.
trees. And again, this also has sort of a nostalgia. I mean, it has to for something like that. When I was a child growing up, my parents had in the house this pastel pink, and I mean like Pepto-Bismol pink ceramic Christmas tree. It was hideous.
Wow.
And I loved it. My grandmother gave it to our family, and at some point it
Weird.
disappeared. I think my parents, yeah, right. My parents,
At some point, it disappeared.
well, I think they sold it in a garage sale, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't know that it had that
Yeah.
meaning attached to it for
Yeah.
us. And so I spent years looking for it. And I still it's gone to the wind. But I started picking up like one little one here and there just to kind of
Okay.
put in with our regular seasonal decor. Um, but this last year, I joined a Facebook group that all it is ceramic Christmas tree appreciation. It's just people posting photos of their collections,
Folks,
right?
this is impressive. Things you
Yeah,
didn't know. Things you
right.
didn't know. You're educating too at the same time. You're giving advice and you're educating
Well,
us.
there you go. Yeah, and there's just these things I love
This
them
is
because they're
fantastic.
so tacky, and that's one of the things that I love
Yeah.
most about Christmas is Christmas isn't one thing. There's,
Mhm.
it's just this melange of
Yeah.
sparkle and glitter and
Tacky
crap that,
sweaters.
yes, like it none of it fits together, and that's what makes it Christmas is like,
Yep.
oh, let's sell it. So it's to me, that's kind of what is
Yeah.
exciting about Christmas is that it's
Cool.
just this big melting pot of unrelated crap that everything goes into, and all of it can be appreciated and celebrated. So that's kind of
Beautiful.
where the music goes in. That's where
Yes.
the Christmas CDs or
Yes.
Christmas trees go in.
And
So
and you've displayed these. Like this is a thing that you do. Like this is a part of some of the traditions that you've built. So you not
mhm.
only have them, and we're going to share some pictures. If you're watching this on video, we'll share some pictures that Michael's taken of his displays. So how did you come about figuring out like how do I want to appreciate these? So I've got these collections, I'm building these collections. How do you think about how do I want to enjoy it? Like you've got the CD player, so you figured out for Christmas music. All right, I've got
Yep.
this. I want to enjoy it. This is the method by which I'm going to enjoy it. How did you do that for Christmas trees?
Well, seeing other people who are clearly way crazier about ceramic trees than I am helps because
Mhm.
that adds a little balance. But seeing how other people display their trees is
Okay.
really informative and educated too, because
Okay.
I
Yeah,
used to
sure.
have like just 2 or 3 that I'd kind of spread out around the house. Well, now I've got like a
Oh,
dedicated space that I can put them in. And I tell you, so we had Halloween on October 31st. On November 1st, I told Jenny, I was like, I want all of this gone. And we love Halloween. One of the other things that I collect is Halloween Legos. And every year I make a huge display, and every year it's different. And there's
oh,
zombies
that's
and
fun.
yeah, there's skeletons and
Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas and all of this crazy, like it's so much fun. But it's something that appeals to the child in me, but also like the spooky part of the season. So
Sure.
we're huge Halloween folks. We're huge Christmas folks. But I told Jenny on November 1st, I want all the Halloween stuff gone. And we spent like 6 hours. No, I think it was more like eight
Holy
hours
smokes.
just clearing all of the Halloween stuff
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was almost buzzy with anticipation. It's like, I cannot wait to pull all of these Christmas trees out
Hmm.
that I've been amassing. Cause really over the past year, I've been really collecting them.
Oh, okay.
And here's the hot take. Here's the hot
Okay.
tip.
Give me the
My
deep.
parents, my
Give me the
parents
tea.
found a bunch of these at garage sales. So I don't spend money. I don't spend real money on these things because
Yes.
the trees can go for 75, 100, 150, $200 a
Oh,
piece,
wow.
depending on. I get garage sale ones. I get,
Yes.
random finds. I don't spend a lot of money on them.
It's kind of the challenge for it. It makes it more like a little bit more special when you've sought the thing out. Like you just didn't go on and purchase what you wanted. Like you said, I want something like this, and you found it and you searched for it. It was like a bit of a
Yeah.
journey to get there.
Well, yeah, and part of that is like that's part of the joy of collecting records is the
Mhm.
joy of the hunt,
Yes.
right? You never know what you're going to find. And
Yes.
after a while, I started having an idea. Like I know I've got this really tall white tree and these
Okay.
two whatever green trees. I need some small things to put in
Okay.
front of
Yeah.
them so I can build layers and depth to the little Christmas tree forest that I put together. And so then it's kind of like, well, I found this gigantic $300 lava shaped tree. I really want one of those for my
Yeah.
collection, but I don't have the money for it, but I don't have the space for that.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, I want to look for like, an 8 or 10 inch tree that I
Yeah.
can
A
spend
little.
10 or $15 on. Like that's what I want.
Okay.
So, kind of knowing what you've got and trying to work around that, knowing what your physical and monetary,
Right.
restraints are.
And
So
send some space and living by those. So that's another tip, right? So
yeah.
advice to live by those. Set those rules for yourself, set those limitations and pathways for yourself, and then live by those. And then
Yeah.
I like your other tip there too. Tell people that you care about, because this is a great thing to say, oh, well, this is what we're gonna get Michael for Christmas because we know he likes it.
Yeah.
So when you have collections, sometimes it's really nice because people know what to get you sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if they know you want the wacky weird thing. I've known people that have collected just the weirdest, most obscure sci-fi t-shirts,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And they wear them all the time, and you see them, and every once in a while somebody be like, I have seen that show. And it's random and obscure,
Oh
and
yeah.
yes, or played that
A-
video game. Yeah.
And every morning, the first thing I do when I get up, I go in there and I flick on the power strips, and I've got this
Nice.
glow
Sure.
of
Cool,
these
cool.
Christmas lights, and it just makes this atmosphere.
Right.
It's just fun. And I truly enjoy just seeing these lights and these, I don't know, it's a warm feeling. It's hard to
Yeah.
describe,
And
but
so it
sort
gives
of,
you some joy. I think that's
oh,
another point.
absolutely.
Like this is something that gives you something special for you that gives you joy. So if you're collecting something, make sure first of all, be interesting. Like that's one of the things I say. I collected snow globes for a while, and after a while, I'm like, these break and they're kind of a pain in the butt, and they're not interesting to me. So I think the key thing of saying, hey, these are things that I care about, like, and even if it's something expensive, like people who might collect cars, like you may not start off with being able to collect like 10 cars, but I know people have 6 cars and they'll trade them in and upgrade them over time within that budget, within that constraint, whatever their passion is, whatever gives them that joy, that's what they collect. Yeah. And it may be something big, or it may be like you, like, I'm going to collect these series of Christmas trees, and you may have 20 and somebody's like, no, I collect cars, but I only have 3. My goal is to collect these other things, and I might sell one, or I'll work on them, or like, so I think it's all about what that joy brings you is a key point of what you choose to collect, and then how do you get joy out of it.
Well, and I also believe in using things for what they were designed for. Like,
preach.
When I was a kid, I went through, collecting action figures at some point. And, the thing with cars is like people who own cars, but they never drive them. Or people who collect guitars and never play them. I'm like, why are you, and I get it for an investment. These things.
And sometimes it's an investment. So I know people who might collect a watch and they're like, well, I bought this watch, it's never going to go down in value. I get that, but it's an investment. It's not something that gives you joy. It may be a nice investment and you're proud of it, but it's different. Their pride in a very expensive watch that they view as an investment, and your collection of Christmas trees are really 2 different spaces, right? It's a joy space versus it might make me feel good, or it's cool. But I want the joy and experience. And that's another thing. It's like, it's about that experience. Like you're choosing to give you an experience.
Okay. So related to the Christmas trees, but not nearly as seasonal, I have become a lava lamp collector. Oh. And this is another thing that I don't like to spend money on lava lamps. I go see them in stores, and I've seen, again, there's a whole world out there of lava lamp collectors who know all of the stuff. I'm kind of in the same thing as I don't like spending a lot of money on them, and I have a lot of them right now. And the hard thing with those is finding places to put all of them, because it's different when you're building a Christmas tree forest, because there's height and depth and color and things like that. And lava lamps come in different colors, but lava lamps take a long time to warm up. I can't just go flick on the light and I've got lava.
It's also that instant gratification of seeing it there, isn't there too? Yeah. So that's something like it's an overtime. But I feel like a party, I feel like that would be a really solid party room.
It's like the difference between the Christmas trees would be like taking shots of tequila. Like, it's going to get you there fast.
Yeah.
Right. But lava lamps are like sipping whiskey. Like it takes a little bit of time, and you want to enjoy the process. And like, if you want the vibe, you have to think ahead. So like, if we want the lava going, like when people come over or whatever, I got to turn that thing on like 2 hours before people come over, just so there's a good flow.
Right.
But again, I collect garage sale, estate sale, lava lamps, and I've learned a lot. Here's your lesson. So here's your advice. Okay. If you're going to get into collecting lava lamps, is do not put them in your attic, because they will freeze. And you want to ask me how I know?
Oh, no.
I learned the hard way. Yeah. So we had a really cold, a cold night in February this past year.
Yeah.
That was so cold that it froze the pipes to my sprinkler system. Well, I didn't think about the stuff that was in my attic. Fortunately, I had them in plastic tubs, but when I pulled them down in the spring to swap them out with the Christmas stuff, I had at least 1 or 2 that had busted. And I never thought, because I thought, well, they don't have water, they have wax, and it got cold enough in there and it popped at least 1 or 2 of them. So little lesson. So that's the bad thing about lava lamps, is if you're going to put them up for a season, you have to keep them indoors, because they will freeze.
With temperature control. Temperature control. So you also collect swatches, is this correct?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll actually give you a little preview right here, because in my right here, if you can see them.
Oh, yes.
Get that out of the way.
Lovely.
So you can see I've got I'm at about 20 now that work. I've got several more that don't, unfortunately, that I've collected. But the thing with so these are vintage Swatch watches from the 1980s and 90s, but some of them are more 20 from the 2020s. And several of them have stories that go with them. Several of them were gifts. Some were ones. I mean, again, I don't pay a lot of money for these. Probably the most that I've paid, I don't know that I've paid. I think some of them I've gotten off of estate sales, like online. So I'd get like
Oh
a
yeah.
batch for like 50 or 60 bucks, and I'd get 4 or
Nice.
5 of them in there
Very
at
cool. Yeah.
various shapes of various conditions. But the nice thing is that you can buy the replacement bands on
Oh, sure.
these are not Swatch these are like
Yeah.
flexi whatever, but you can buy it on Amazon for stupid cheap. And what I love about them is one of the things that I love about them is mixing and matching. So you get
Oh, very cool.
so like I bought this one and the watch works, but
Yeah.
it's got a cool. I love the face on
That
this.
is really, yeah, that's sweet.
But the bands break. The bands, they get gross and nasty over time and they fall
Yeah.
apart. Well, if you're going to wear them, and I wear all of mine.
Yeah.
Mine, I intentionally buy. I wear different swatches with different outfits. I can coordinate. Sometimes I make them match what I'm wearing. Sometimes they're completely different than what I'm wearing. But
Yeah.
and then I've got like the Swatch guards and things that clip on them so you can protect
Oh yeah. So
the
it's also
faces.
an expression of creativity. And I think that's for all of the
100%.
things you've mentioned. These are
Yeah.
additional ways that you express creativity. And I think some people think, oh, I'm not creative. And I disagree. Everyone's creative. And sometimes you have to learn to re-tap into it because we were really creative as children and that gets groomed out of us. And so that
Yeah.
when we collect things like this is an opportunity for you to get more creative. So even with swatches, like how is that collecting watches? Well, because I can change the bands and I can put the colors on and I can match it with my outfits. And like this is really
it's very much an expression of who I am.
Yeah.
And so I've just learned to, embrace the parts of myself that I can customize and I can enjoy. But yeah, I have a bunch of these that I bought a set of 4 of them at a garage sale. All the bands were broken. I replaced all of the bands. But this is what got me into it. I'll say this right here.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
I remember that one
this is
actually.
called a jellyfish. And
Okay.
this is the 1980s. And this is the actual original band. It's very hard to find these. And these are not yellow or orange or brown with age. When I was a kid, I loved going. If we went to the mall, I would go to Dillard's and JCPenney and I would drool over the swatches in the display cases because I always loved Swatch watches, but I never had one. My family couldn't afford them. And so I came across, this was always my favorite one that I always wanted. And I came across one of these on Facebook Marketplace, I think for 25 or 30 bucks a few years ago. And I was like, you mean it works and the band is in good shape? I was like, this is unreal. So I bought it. The great thing is the clear watch is versatile. You can wear that with anything, right?
Yeah, anything.
And then that just sort of led to, me running into things at places. And I was at a garage sale again, and somebody had this watch. If you can see it. So it's got these sort of turquoise.
Black with, turquoise. Numbers,
turquoise face or numbers, and then an orange second hand.
Yeah, right.
Somebody had the wall clock version of that. So Swatch also made these hilarious. Like 5-foot watches that you put on your wall as a clock. They had one of those in the box for $3. Those things go for like $300.
Yeah.
And so like that's the other watch. That's the only watch I can't wear. So
but you still get joy from looking at it because it's a thing you like.
100%. It's just so fun to walk into. So I have it hanging in my art room, and it's just so fun to walk in there and see that big piece of 1980s culture hanging right there,
I love it.
I think those are most of the things that I collect. I mean, and I'm fortunate to have a partner who puts up with that stuff. She has actually become a fan of most of the things. She doesn't care about the Swatch watches so much, but she likes that I like the Christmas trees and that she can enjoy those as well. And she thinks the Lego setup is funny every year and cute. Actually, the lava lamp thing started because Jenny and I went on a trip once to Pine, Arizona. This was before Sophia was born. And the people who owned the house had an orange. It was a black lava lamp with orange wax sitting in the window. Yeah. And I'd always thought that lava lamps were cool, but was never like serious about them. And I every night we would watch TV or play video games or
Yeah.
hang out, and every night I would flick that thing on. It just added to the mood of
Yeah,
the
the ambiance.
whole experience.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's the one I don't have. I'm still looking for an orange one.
Okay.
And
All right. So folks out there, if anybody has
yeah,
that,
it's got to be
you
cheap.
know,
I'm
it's
a cheap collector. I don't pay a lot of money for these things.
you're gonna get a friggin' box of one of these days. Somebody's gonna show up. You're like, where did this come from? I can't believe it.
Yeah. So those are basically the things that I collect. And as you know, as you've mentioned, like they have nostalgia behind them, but they all contribute to, I would say, a form of mental wellness to a degree, because they're comforting. They make me feel good to see them, or to wear the watches, or to listen to the music. I collect records as well, but that's a lot of that is for my radio show.
Right.
I get records from record labels and artists that I work with
Sure.
for the radio show and the podcast. But that also has an intrinsic value to be able
Right.
to sit down and listen to records and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for collecting things as long as like you have your spouse's blessing behind it. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And my dad is a collector, so I get a little bit, I think, of that from him. But he collects big phonographs, which are just some of them are big cathedral-sized giant pieces. And my mom is very patient to allow him to keep those in the house. But
yes, that's true. But I think it's and I think something you added is that something that your spouse can also enjoy with you. Like it's your collection, but she gets to enjoy that with you. And I think that's something that people should keep in mind when they're like, hey, I want to collect this thing, or I really like these things. And sometimes people don't know, like, oh, I really like this thing. Like, I love crazy glasses. I love really funky jewelry. Well, that's something I can collect, and I've started collecting. And a lot of these pieces are gifts, or the things I find at places that I like. But I've focused my time and energy on really finding the ones that I like and that I will wear.
Yeah.
So just because it looks cool, I'm like, if I don't like it, if I won't wear it, I'm not going to collect it. I'm not going to keep it. I want the pieces that have give me joy.
Yeah. Well, and to take that to another degree, like with your spouse's participation, like there's been times when I'll bring home a lava lamp and Jenny will be like, ooh, I really like that one. Can I have it from my office? And I'm like, sure. Like, I mean, if you're going to enjoy it, that's part of the experience for me. And that's a positive thing. So yeah,
that's fantastic.
Hopefully Damien is in support of the big glasses and the colorful
the glasses are a mixed bag, but the jewelry he's down with. He's like these. He's like, because these are little lightning bolts, and he was like, those are very 1980s, and I'm like, yeah. So yeah, for that stuff he is. Yeah, he actually bought me some really nice pieces too. So
there you go.
Well, thank you so much for walking us through this, for giving your advice. I really appreciate it. And,
thanks for having me.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you so much. And thanks for being a part. Thanks for doing the podcast and joining the podcast world. Thanks for letting me be your guest.
I appreciate it. So going forward, if you want, I would love to hear one more piece of advice from you, Michael. And this is for the listeners that stay on a little bit longer, but you made a decision, you made a transition in your career and decided to leave corporate and go on your own and follow your passions. And this is something that's kind of special to me because that's what I'm doing right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what piece of advice or encouragement do you have for people that are thinking about doing this?
Listen to your instincts and trust your gut. Because here's the thing, you're the only person who's going to do things the way that you do them. And when you do that, you bring a sense of authenticity to the clients and the world that you're a part of and the people that you work with. There is something that Esther will only bring in the way that Esther brings it. And anybody else listening, and you can do things just like anybody else and you'll look like everybody else. What you want to do is to be authentic to yourself, because authenticity is so detectable and so craved right now, especially in a world of artificiality and everything's on your phone. Like, it's funny, if I can just take a second here. The current, like, so Sophia's generation, they're a screen generation. They're tablet kids. They grew up with the internet and with, phones and tablets. Their generation is craving authentic in-person adventures. They may be on their phone all the time, or it looks like that out there all the time, but they are craving things that they cannot get on their screens,
Right.
even if they're attached to them all the time, because they know the difference.
Yeah.
And I saw a story the other day online that said that digital cameras are coming back into style because this generation wants to take physical photos. And like 2 weeks ago, something shows up in the mail that my daughter orders for herself. It's a digital camera. And I'm just like, I'm so excited for her. I'm not going to say anything about it, but all that comes back to that idea of authenticity. When you're doing something you love and you're passionate about it, don't settle for other people's rules and other people's expectations. Do it the way that you do it, because I promise there are people who are going to be attracted to that and help be a part of your success.
Absolutely. That's fantastic advice. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for
You're welcome.
sharing that with us. And I appreciate your time and being my guest. It's fantastic. I'm excited. And all your advice.
It's fun.